What we did last week in our emergency broadcast is we talked about the App Store and the massive changes in the App Store, and one massive change in particular, which is the ability to advertise for the very first time in the App Store. Why is this exciting? It's the same reason that the first time Google allowed you to buy an ad for a search term on Google, it's that groundbreaking. Okay, so first just two quick refresh stats of why this is so important. First thing is that Apple released the fact that 65% of all app downloads are triggered not by a Facebook ad, not by a link from a website, but from a search on the person's device. In other words, they're searching in iTunes. They're searching in the App Store. Okay? Big deal. Big deal. And then they announced that you can have a paid app. You can pay and get a tap and be the number one position for any search term in the App Store. This is phenomenal. Now, when I did the flash broadcast last week, there were a lot of unanswered questions. And what I wanted to do now was answer some of those questions for you. Now, and let me just bring this up. If you have any sort of app, you're any sort of app developer, the session that you want to watch, and this, what's great is if you're a Magcaster or a Scriptcaster, most WWDC sessions are incredibly dry and involve a lot of code, so you don't want to watch them ever. This particular session, and developer.apple.com/WWDC16/302, introducing search ads, is brilliant. You will all understand it. There's no code. It's 5 seconds of code towards the end, but that's it. It's well worth watching. So, a lot of the answers that I'm going to give you now are answers that were either here or indeed are being clarified by Phil Schiller. The first thing to clarify is when this all rolls out. Right now, you can register as an app developer to be a participant in this program. You can't actually pay for ads yet. That is not available, and they weren't really clear on that. So when it started this prior Monday, a week ago, there's nowhere for you to buy ads. But what Apple are actually doing over the next couple of months is if you say, yes, please use my app and opt in, they will, in testing the system, they will actually advertise your app for free. So I think that's a pretty darn good thing to do. So all you have to do is go to your developer account and opt in to the program. And over the course of the summer, Apple's probably going to use your app and pick keywords that it thinks are good and actually advertise your app as part of testing the system. Pretty damn awesome, if I do say so myself. So it's free. So the actual paid part of it is not going to happen for a couple of months, right? So as they roll it out. But what they are rolling out is extraordinary. So here's what we've learnt in the meantime. This first one is massive. It's just beyond crazy. And this is what it is. Okay, you ready? There are no minimum bids. If you bid on a keyword that nobody else is bidding on and you bid 2 cents, you'll pay 2 cents. We haven't seen this since 2005, right, in any store. The great reason that you want to use paper tap advertising is because it's intent, right? People are there searching for something to download, and they're doing it in the hundreds of millions a month, okay? It's massive. So if you have an app, and this goes back to Donovan's question, you can take advantage of the most amazing traffic, the cheapest traffic that existed. We already know from Facebook that Facebook app advertising is the single most effective unit that Facebook has. So imagine being able to advertise at the source, and by the way, no minimum bid. And Phil Schiller, who's the Apple executive responsible for all of this, said that was a very deliberate move because they wanted small, independent app developers to be able to take advantage of this. Now, okay, I hear what you're thinking. Okay, well, isn't Candy Crush just going to advertise on every keyword under the sun and just blow everybody away? Well, good news. Like I said, Apple are doing this for the individual developers. Now we'll see, okay? But I have to, in an hour interview with Phil, every single time we talked about this, it was absolutely, this is for independence. We're doing all these things. And as I explain these things, you'll see why. So the most important thing that they will do to ensure that that doesn't happen, that deep-pocketed major publishers just don't bombard because you would see Candy Crush everywhere, right? You'd see Clash Royale everywhere. That's Clash of Clans, etc., etc. It's not going to happen because they will not show ads, regardless of how much the person bids, in areas that they deem irrelevant. Okay, and this is huge. So you're not going if you've got a productivity app, if you've got an app on kiteboarding, you've got a Scriptcast or Magcast on kiteboarding, Clash of Clans can't advertise over the top of your app. So that is immense, right? That was one of the biggest issues with all of this. Combine that with no minimum bid, and people who have Scriptcasts and Magcasts and independent little apps, which are niche-based apps, are going to be able to do all sorts of awesome things. So that is fantastic. Now, another big issue. One of the things you can't do in Google is you can't bid on people's names or app names, right? Because they're, inverted commas, trademarks. Now, it's not a legal reason because you can identify all sorts of reasons that you can't do that, although I'm not a lawyer and don't play one on TV. Anyway, deliberately, to benefit the little guy, guess what? You will be able to bid on app names of other apps in your category, in your section. This is super exciting because it's a way you can get exposure, even if it's a burst. So you pay for a little bit of burst so you get exposure for your app, which starts downloads, which helps your rank rise. That is incredibly exciting. Okay, so that is amazing. Apple has a keyword suggestion engine built in. So for the first time ever, you will be able to type in the category, the name of your app, and it'll have a look at Apple actually looks at your name of your app, the keywords that you've got attached to it in iTunes Connect, and the description. And based on that, even before you pay a penny, it will suggest keywords for you. This is awesome. And by the way, tell you the relative popularity of each of the keywords that they're suggesting to you. This has never been available before. This is immense. This is absolutely huge. Right? This has never been available. So guess what? You've got this virtuous circle. Wait to see what Apple tells you. Then guess what? Update your meta tag keywords based on Apple's own information. Thank you, Apple. That is amazing. That is absolutely so exciting to be able to do. So you've got this virtuous circle, which is fantastic. That is awesome. You can set budgeting. Right, so you can say I only want to spend $20 a day. Indeed, some of the examples that they show, you've got that. Apple can actually do a campaign for you based on your budget and how much you're prepared to spend per tap. Now, normally, right, we would advise you not to touch those things with a barge pole. But here, doing that for a day is the best, smartest thing you could possibly do because you're going to get all this information. How much people are paying for keywords, what's the availability, what keywords are popular, and then you can stop them, start them, and then you can start to pick your own keywords. You'll have exact and broad match, just like you do in Google. Exact match will include plurals and misspellings. Thank goodness. So you don't have to have horrible rows of keywords with misspellings and plurals. The broad match will also, include keywords around that word. So you've got keyword broad, you've got negative keywords. So you can say, I don't want any keywords that involve this, and this, which is just brilliant as well. So we've got all of that. No minimum bid. Did I mention no minimum bid? Because there's no minimum bid. And while, I expect that you'll be bidding anywhere from $1 to $3 cost per tap in popular keywords, I'm tipping you're going to get kiteboarding for a hell of a lot less. I'm tipping you're going to get tiny houses for a hell of a lot less. I'm tipping you're going to get gypsy jazz guitar for a hell of a lot less. Pennies on the dollar. It's so, so exciting. It really is truly exciting. So that is my App Store update for you guys. And I hope that's been useful for you, because it is truly exciting. Now, the news is, of course, that they have, as I say, they've started the program. Nobody can actually pay money as yet. By the way, you'll be able to pay in Australian dollars, euros, pounds, Canadian dollars, and US dollars. So it will certainly go to all of those markets. And that is just super duper exciting.